All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we are going to now preview the NFC playoff games for this weekend. I'll give you my thoughts on them. So let's get right into them. The third playoff game for the NFC, that's going to be on Monday. That's going to be the rematch of the game between the Bucs and the Eagles, because they played back in, what was it, week 3, right? Week 3? Yeah, week 3. Let's get into the games for Sunday. So you got the Packers and the Cowboys at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Cowboys are a 7-point favorite. The league rankings for the two teams. The Cowboys are third in passing yards per game at 274.1. The Packers are 14th at 247.6. Rushing yards, both teams are actually about the same. The Cowboys are ranked 14th. Packers are ranked 15th. But the Packers and Cowboys are very different when it comes to points per game. Cowboys are first. Packers are 12th. Although the Packers have been playing better as of late. The Cowboys are averaging pretty much 30 points a game. Packers are averaging 22.5. Then on the defensive side of the ball, there's a difference there. The Cowboys are 5th against the pass. Packers are 11th. Rushing yards against the run. The Cowboys are 16th, and the Packers are 28th. And then points allowed, Cowboys are 5th, and the Packers defense is actually 10th. And you got two quarterbacks that have had good seasons. Of course, Dak Prescott for most of the year was an MVP candidate. He finished the regular season with 4,500 passing yards, 36 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Jordan Love, 4,100 yards passing, 32 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. And the Packers are coming in hot. Roller coaster of a season for them. They started off the season 2-1. Then they lost their next 4 games. Then they defeated the Rams, lost to the Steelers. Then they rode off 3 straight, then lost 2 straight, and then won their final 3 games and were able to make the playoffs. The Cowboys, they no really rough stretches for them. I mean, they had some bad games. The Cardinals game at the beginning of the year was bad. Of course, the 49ers blowout loss in Week 5, blown out by the Bills in Week 15. But the losses against Miami and Philadelphia, those were close games. They played well in the Eagles game. They played well enough to win, but they just couldn't cash in on some missed opportunities. And the Dolphins game, Jason Sanders kicked a bunch of field goals and they lost. They didn't put up enough points. But they've been very good at home. They're undefeated at home. It's going to be a tough game for the Packers. How the Packers can win this game, though, and I think I talked about this, is you got to keep Dallas off the field. And you have a running back in Aaron Jones who has had past success against the Cowboys. And not going to say that he's going to have 4 touchdowns like he did back in 2019. I think it was 4. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but Aaron Jones last 3 games has rushed for over 100 yards. Packers are going to have to run the football in this game, and they're going to have to keep Dallas's offense off the field and control the clock. That's what they're going to have to do, because if they got to start fast. That they got to score first. Like if they get the ball, you got to score on your first drive. You got to put pressure on the Cowboys to answer. Because you know what? I'll be honest. There's a lot of pressure on the Cowboys not just in this game, but in the playoffs. Because this NFC is not loaded. There's no Drew Brees anymore. There's no Aaron Rodgers. There's no Tom Brady with the Bucs. You got, other than the 49ers, you are the second best team in this conference. There is no reason why you shouldn't be playing in the NFC Championship game. So, for the Packers, this is a tough game for them. Cowboys, they should win this game. Like I said, 7-point favorite. They're at home where they've played very well. They've blown a lot of teams out at home. The Packers, I think, are kind of playing with that house money where it's like not a lot of people expect them to be there, so they should just let it rip. And Jordan Love has been better, cutting down on the turnovers. And listen, I think the Packers are going to put up some points in this game. But I think if Dallas is up by, two scores, the game's pretty much over. If Dallas goes up 14-0, this game's over. That's why it's really important that the Packers, if Dallas gets the ball first, you get a stop. On your first drive, you go right down the field, and you got to score. You got to score points. I'm a little worried with the kicking situation because Carlson, has not been good. You're not going to have Mason Crosby to save you and kick 50-plus yard field goals like the playoff game from 2016-2017 season. Actually, they on NFL Network last night they were replaying the Dez dropped it game, from the divisional round back in 2015, the 2014-2015 season. It was one of my favorite football seasons of all time. That was a great that season was a lot of fun. I miss that Packers team, because growing up being a Jordy Nelson fan and obviously being an Aaron Rodgers fan, that Packers team was really good. So hopefully this Packers team can maybe become, something similar to that Packers team. But listen, the Packers have had their past success against Dallas in the playoffs, but it's different now. It's a new era. Jordan Love, is now the quarterback. I'm looking forward to this. I'm hoping it's a close game. And again, the Packers are coming in hot. Dallas is good at home. So hopefully it's a good game. That's what I'm hoping for. But for me, it's important that Green Bay, if you get the ball first, you got to go right down the field and score 7. You have to. Put pressure on Dallas, and like I said, if they can find success running the football, and again, teams can move the ball in this Dallas defense. This Dallas defense is not, the 85 Bears. You can move the ball in this defense. Now, they're opportunistic. They force turnovers. Micah Parsons is one of the best defensive players in the National Football League. So they're going to have to, find a way to contain him. So, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And we've seen earlier in the season Jordan Love struggle, on the road. But he's been different. He's been a different quarterback lately, so we'll see. Packers defense, though, I guess just cover CeeDee Lamb. Just take CeeDee Lamb out of the game somehow, and just have Dak throw to his other. Have Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, Jacob Ferguson, have those guys try to beat you. You cannot leave CeeDee Lamb, in single coverage. You got to do something there. I don't know. But CeeDee Lamb, I think, is still going to have... CeeDee Lamb's going to have a good game. You just know he is. Probably going to catch a touchdown. Wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, we'll see what happens with this game. But again, credit to the Packers for getting to this point because nobody really expected them to make the playoffs. So then on Sunday night, Matthew Stafford makes his return to Detroit for the first time since the trade. Looking at the league rankings for both teams, Lions are 4th in passing yards per game. Rams are 11th. Lions are 5th in rushing yards per game. Rams are 11th. Points per game, both teams are top 10. Lions are 5th. Rams are 8th. Then on the defensive side of the ball, when it comes to the pass, Lions are 29th, giving up an average of 268.4 passing yards per game. And the Rams are 20th. Rushing yards, Lions are actually 2nd, giving up 88.8 rushing yards per game. The Rams are 12th. And then points allowed, Lions are 23rd, Rams are 19th. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. I think this game is going to be very high scoring. Now, another thing that's interesting, so I honestly, it's my fault for not, seeing this, but it seems like Sam Laporta is optimistic that he's going to play in this game. The injury was not as significant as we originally thought. I thought that he wasn't going to play, but it seems like he's going to be able to, and that's huge for the Lions because he's been a huge weapon for them. What a pick, in this this past NFL draft. They traded T.J. Hawkinson, and people kind of scratching their heads over that, and they drafted Sam Laporta, and he's been great. So you get him back for this game to go along with their weapons and their running attack. Jahmyr Gibbs has had a good second half of the season to go along with Jordan Montgomery. Sorry, did the baseball podcast before this. So David Montgomery, nice 1-2 punch there. And then on the other side, the Rams, they have been a different team since Kyren Williams has come back. And I've been saying that constantly. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. I think this game is going to be really close. It's going to be a nail biter, and it's going to be a great way to end off the triple header on Sunday. I cannot wait for this game. It's a revenge game for Jared Goff. I don't think it's a revenge game for Stafford. It's a revenge game for Jared Goff. And I'm really looking forward to it. This is going to be one of the best games of the weekend. So, we'll see what happens. These two teams don't have great defenses. They do have players on their defenses that can wreck games. Aaron Donald for the Rams, and for the Lions, you have Aiden Hutchinson. So we'll see what happens here. I'm really looking forward to this game. Lions are actually a 3-point favorite in this game. The over-under is 52. I don't know. I feel like you're going to see both teams scoring in the 30s, but I could be wrong. Then we'll just touch upon Monday's game briefly, but I wanted to wait till Monday. Right now, the Bucs are 3-point underdogs against the Eagles. The Eagles they're going to be getting their guys back, some of their guys back for this game, which is big. But you know what? They're going to have to put a lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield, because if they don't, I feel like the Bucs are going to pick apart that secondary. I think Mike Evans is going to have, is going to feast on that secondary. Rashad White's been making plays for them in the running game and in the passing game as well. Baker Mayfield was playing well. Last two games, not so much, but he is a little banged up. The Eagles are banged up too. Jalen Hurts hurts his finger. A.J. Brown got hurt, but it seems like he's going to play. Devontae Smith, he was injured, but he looks like he's playing in this game. Listen, the Eagles are in a free fall right now. It hasn't been great for them, a great stretch for them. So I think this game's going to be closer than it was the last time these two teams met, but we'll see. So before I go into the second break of the show, I just want to remind you guys once again to tip or donate and get your comments recognized. Make sure to go to the following link, that is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps the show, makes the show more interactive between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. Again, that is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. And as always, it is displayed on the ticker on the bottom of the show segment down below. So, when we come back from our second break of the show, we will then preview the AFC playoff games for this weekend. I'll give you my thoughts on those. And then after that, we'll get to who I think is winning each game for this weekend and how I think the rest of the playoffs are going to shape out, and I'll reveal my bracket. So, with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.